In today's video, we're going to learn how to do decimals. Today we are going to focus on adding, subtracting, timesing, and dividing of decimal numbers. We're going to start with adding. When we add decimals, you need to make sure that you keep your decimal right underneath each other. You can see here our decimals are right underneath each other. From there, everything else stays directly as it should with normal addition. From here, you can do normal addition. 3 plus 1 is 4. 9 plus 8 is 17. You carry the 1 over to the 4. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 0 is 5, and 1 plus 0 is 1. Make sure you keep your decimal right underneath the other decimals. This is then your final answer. When we subtract, we do a similar thing. When we subtract decimals, we do the same thing and we keep the comma right underneath each other. You'll notice in the sum, we also have a missing number over here. When we have a situation like this, if you need to have a placeholder in order to do the sum, we cannot say nothing minus 3, so we therefore put a placeholder and we say 0 minus 3. We can now do our sum like normal. Don't forget to borrow. Place your comma right underneath. There we go. That is your subtraction sum. We can move on to multiplication. With multiplication, you can either times the decimal by 10, by 100, or by 1,000. When we multiply a decimal, the decimal moves to the right. To give you an example, 3,62 multiplied by 10. The decimal takes one jump because there's 1 0. So our new answer is 3,6,2. The same applies when you multiply by 100, 1,000, 10,000, so forth. An easy way to remember it: the amount of zeros is the amount of jumps the decimal takes. We can also multiply decimals by whole numbers and decimals by decimals. So to give you an example of that, if we say 3,2 multiplied by 2, we count our decimal places. We have one decimal place. We write it in the corner and we circle it. Now we can multiply like normal. We can say 32 multiplied by 2, or if you use your box method, we can say 3 times 2 is 6, and 2 times 2 is 4. We add it up. If we do it this way, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 2 is 6, it's 64. Now we had that one decimal place over here. So we need to make sure the decimal always lives at the unit to start. But now the decimal needs to do one jump into the sum. So our new answers are 6,4 when you place your decimal back into your sum. The same method applies if you say 3,32 multiplied by 1,6. Our first step is to count the decimal places, 1, 2, 3. We put the 3 in the circle at the top. We now multiply like normal, 332 multiplied by 16. You may also do your box method. For now, I'm going to focus on the vertical method because that's the method I feel comfortable with. My answer is now 5,352. At the top, I remembered I had 3 decimal places to put in. So I count from the back, 1, 2, 3, and I place my comma. My final answer is 5,352. You can make up your own decimal sums now to practice them. Our last one we're going to focus on for now is division. Again, like multiplication, with the tens, thousands, tens, hundred, thousands, the same applies for decimals. We can divide by 10. We can divide by 100. And we can divide by 1,000. When we divide, the decimal moves to the left. Same applies like multiplication. The zeros tell us how many jumps the decimal needs to take. So let's practice one. If we have 62,4 divided by 10, our decimal takes one jump because there's 1 0, and we place our comma. Our final answer is 6,24. If we try another one, 0,34 divided by 100. Our first step would be to add some zeros in front. Now we take our jumps. There are 2 zeros, so we take 2 jumps. 1, 2. Our final answer then is 0,0034. Be careful you make sure your jump lands in the correct place. Then we can also say a decimal divided by a whole number divided by a decimal, or in some cases, 2 decimals dividing each other. Let's start with an easier one. If we said 2 divided by 1,5. Before we start, we need to make sure that the back number has no decimals. This will apply for all our dividing. We will then take one jump on the right, so therefore we need to make a jump on the left. Our new sum that we're dividing is now 20 divided by 15. Another way to think of it is if you write it inside the house already, 1, 5. We don't want our outside number to have a decimal. We don't want that. So we jump until the decimal is gone. However many jumps we take on the outside, we take on the inside. We need to add some zeros in. 1 jump, 1 jump. The new decimal now sits here, and in division we place the decimal directly above the bottom decimal. We can rewrite the sum to make it neater. Now we divide like normal. If it's a big number, don't forget that you can write out your t-table on the side to help you. This goes in once, remainder 5, goes in 3 times. Don't forget your comma directly above. So on and so forth. Now, if you're doing it the other way around, if we're saying 3, 2 divided by 2, the number on the right has no decimal places, so we don't have to worry. We can draw our house like normal, put the 2 on the outside, 3, 2 on the inside. The decimal lives right above, and now we can divide like normal. Remember, if it's a big number, you can make your t-table. 2 goes into 3 once, remainder 1. 2 goes into 12 6 times. Your final answer is 1, 6. Or we could have 2 decimals dividing each other. If we have 16, 38 divided by 2, 5. We move the decimal on the right-hand side as many times as we need to move it out. Therefore, we need to do it on the left-hand side too. Our new sum will be 25 on the outside and 163,8 on the inside. Don't forget to place your decimal directly above. If need be, write your t-table out on the side. Then you can start dividing. 25 into 1 is 0. Carry the 1. 25 into 16 is 0. Carry the 16. 25 into 163 is 1, 2, 3, 6. Remainder 13. 25 into 138 is 5. Add your 0. It's 13 again.